Let's take a moment and walk through the initial and system setup menus on Pioneer's DEH-X4700BT. To get to the initial menu, we need to switch the head unit off. So right now we're on the AM/FM radio source. We're going to turn the source off. So press and hold the source button for a couple seconds till it switches off. But I still have the clock on my display screen here. I'll press in on the volume control to get into the menu here. And you'll see that we have the initial menu and the system menu. Let's start off with initial. We'll press enter there. And here we have our rear speakers and rear pre-out mode. So the system is set up to operate with 4 speakers, 2 front, 2 rear, and it has 2 sets of RCA outputs, front and rear. So this is the rear speaker output and the RCA pre-out, rear pre-out. Right now, they are set to full range for the speakers and subwoofer output for the RCA, the rear RCA. I can roll over and make that subwoofer output for the rear speakers and subwoofer output for the rear RCA. Roll over one more time, and it's full range output for the rear speakers and full range output for the rear RCA. For this demonstration, we're going to roll over one more time and make the rear speakers full range and the rear RCA subwoofer output. We will go back and roll over to our next menu, which is our software update. The software update will come as a download from pioneerelectronics.com that you would drop onto a USB thumb drive and put in right here. And then to operate the software update, just press enter on the volume control. We'll roll over to our next setting, which is a system reset. To reset the system back to its factory settings, just press enter right here and confirm that you would like to reset. We'll roll over to the next setting, which is back to our speaker and pre-out. So let's press in on the volume control again. And here we are at the initial setup menu. We just talked about that one. Let's roll over to the system menu this time and press enter. Here we can set the clock. For more information about setting the clock, you can check out the clock set video. But you can just press enter there and set the time. Roll over to the next setting, which is the time format, 12-hour or 24-hour. You can choose whatever you'd like there. And we'll roll over to the next setting, which is auxiliary on. Here's the auxiliary input for the head unit, and if you use auxiliary on a regular basis, you're going to want to keep auxiliary on. This means that auxiliary will show up in our source list when we press the source button as it cycles through the available sources. If you don't use the auxiliary input on a regular basis, if you don't use this, then you're going to touch in on the volume control here and switch auxiliary off, and that way it doesn't show up in your source list. For right now, we'll leave auxiliary on and roll over to our next setting, which is Bluetooth audio. If you regularly stream Bluetooth audio from your phone or another device, you're going to want to leave Bluetooth audio on so that it shows up in your source list and you can use that as a source. But again, if you don't want it, you can switch Bluetooth audio off as a source. And we will roll over to our next setting, which is Bluetooth memory clear. If you've had several devices connected to your head unit and you just want to clear them all out and start over, this is where you could do that. You can say to clear out all of the memory for the Bluetooth settings inside the head unit. We'll go back and roll over to the next setting where we can check the Bluetooth version. And this will tell you if you need to upgrade the version, if an update should be available to it later on. We will go back, roll over to our next setting. And this is app connection setup. And we'll press enter to get into this menu. We have 2 settings here. One app connection type is Bluetooth, the other app connection type is wired. If you use an iPhone, be sure to choose the wired connection for your app setup. If you use an Android phone, choose the Bluetooth connection for your app setup. And we'll go back and roll over to our next setting, which is back around to our clock set. At any time, you can just touch the source button when you're done making these selections and go out to a source.